Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope everyone is doing well. Today I'm going to do a video on why a walker works better for me than a wheelchair on everyday use. Now, please remember this is going to be different for everybody. Everybody is different. This is just my case. Okay, so every day I use a walker, and for me that is more functional than a wheelchair, because when I am in a wheelchair, because I don't use it that often, I don't spend the money on getting a wheelchair fitted to me properly. If I used a wheelchair, I would, but I maybe use a wheelchair every 4 to 8 years. That's a long time period before you'd use a wheelchair. So it doesn't really make sense to get a wheelchair when I don't use it that often. And I'm just honestly not good at steering wheelchairs. I look like a bird usually trying to fly. I mean, out of the nest. It really does look like a bird tried to fly and they fell out of a nest. Because my arms are short, so when I try to push off, I look like, a bird. And I struggle with it. And I've just never really been good at pushing a wheelchair. Now, I will do it if I have to. There have been times that I've had to be in a wheelchair, and I can do it. But it is a real struggle for me to push a wheelchair. I don't feel like I can steer it correctly. It's a mess for me. And I should have taken some video the last time I was in a wheelchair, which was, I believe, in 2018 when I was in Las Vegas. But I was only in a wheelchair for a day and a half before I was like, forget this, I need a scooter because I can't steer this thing. And in Las Vegas, you gotta go kind of quickly. So I gave that up and was like, I want horsepower, I want a scooter. And you could rent scooters. So that's what I ended up doing. I really should have taken some video, but I didn't think at the time, hey, that would probably make a good idea. Next time I'm in a wheelchair, I will take some video and show you guys how much of a struggle it really is for me to push a wheelchair. But I got my first walker when I was 5. And literally my walker guy was like, okay, here's how you get on it. Put me on it as a little kid. Made sure the walker fit me properly. Because when you get a walker, you do have to make sure it fits just like a wheelchair. So they make it fit to you. So my walker was fitted to me, and I'm standing there waiting to take off because at this point I want to try it. I've seen a walker, I want to try it so bad. So the guy puts me on it. My mom is standing across the room. And he goes, go get your mama. And I run to my mom, full force. And I run and not fall, but I run into her arms and give her a big hug. And really ever since then, I've always been on a walker. It's just a lot more easier for me to control a walker. Like I said, I don't use a wheelchair enough to, warrant getting one custom made, and they aren't cheap. wheelchairs are not cheap, just like walkers are not cheap. And some insurances change and don't pay for certain types and stuff like that. So it's not always easy. And you have to think, do I really need this? Now, I do have a wheelchair that I got from like a nursing home that my grandpa used to work at that they weren't using and they gave to me. But again, it's not cut to me. I don't use it enough to warrant adapting it. So I will have help when I am in a wheelchair, because usually my arms are like this, trying to pedal, and the armrests are big and bulky. But yeah, I don't use a wheelchair enough to warrant getting a new one and one cut to me. Now, when I'm older, I might feel differently, but a walker just, I feel like I have more control over it. I've used it more. Like I said, the last time I used a wheelchair was in Las Vegas for like a day and a half before I switched to a scooter. Now, I will say this. When I am at the airport, I will totally use a wheelchair. I don't really like being pushed in a wheelchair because I like to be independent. I've always liked to kind of do things myself and not, have somebody push me in a wheelchair. But like an airport, that's totally different. I will so have somebody push me in an airport, and it's not bad to ask for help in an airport or anything like that. I personally don't like asking for help. I've gotten better about it with traveling and stuff. But when I was little, I hated asking for help when I needed to be pushed. I still kind of don't like it, but I'm better. For me, a walker is just lighter. It's easier to manage. It's easier to get through doors. Sometimes a walker won't fit and a wheelchair won't fit, and that's annoying because I feel that everybody should, be able to fit, whether they're on a walker or in a wheelchair or crutches, whatever you walk with that helps you. And so I wish the world was like better at, having space for a walker or a wheelchair, because there are some places that don't have like enough space for either one of them, and we really need to work on that. But basically, I just use a walker instead of a wheelchair because for me, it's easier to work. I can manage it better, and I've just used a walker more than a wheelchair. I did have a wheelchair when I was little that was cut to me, that was so cute. Oh, I wish I had pictures. I'll try to find one and do an update video of this video, but this wheelchair was so cute. It was, and when I was at my grandparents or out with them when I was younger, because they were a little bit more nervous about my walker, I would use this wheelchair. Now, I did use a wheelchair more as a kid than as an adult. But when you get big and you're realizing, oh, it's easier to walk on a walker, at least for me, I decided, you know what, I don't really want to use a wheelchair. And so I stopped really using a wheelchair when I was, I want to say 8, because I couldn't really fit in the one that was like cut for me. So probably 8 at most. I may have even started before that. But long story short, walker works better for me because it's easier for me to steer. And those people who aren't my friends that are watching this video, you know I'm a horrible driver with my walker. You want to add a bigger thing? Like, no, I'd probably run over more people than I already do now. So for me, walker's easier to manage, been on it longer than a wheelchair. Oh, and one more thing. I hate being in a wheelchair for too long because my legs go completely numb, and I hate that feeling of having numb legs. So for me, that's why a walker works better. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. And again, it is different for everybody. If you like crutches better than a walker, then rock your crutches. If you like a wheelchair better than a walker, then rock your wheelchair. If you like a cane better than all that, all the other items I've mentioned, rock it. Whatever you do that you need help with walking or whatever, rock it, own it, be proud of it, and do your best with it, and just live your best life and don't be ashamed of it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we will see you soon. Bye.